Inside the Classroom takes an in-depth look at one of Team Hardin County Schools' best teachers in action, featuring comments, class instruction, and insight inside the classroom.
I became a teacher because honestly I've always wanted to be a teacher as far back as I can remember. I've always loved math, which was a big drive for me to become a teacher, and then I've always wanted to just help kids, so I put two and two together, became a teacher. Today, guys, we're going to do stations like we normally do. We learned about slope yesterday, and we're really going to dive deeper into that. So don't be scared of the camera, just do what you normally do and you'll be fine, okay? But before we jump into that, let's talk about this, because this kind of goes hand in hand with slope. What do we know about a linear graph? I want someone to tell me. What do we know if something's linear? What does that mean? Nick?
If it is making a pattern or sticks to a pattern, and if it's a line, then it's a straight line.
Perfect. So a couple things she gave me there. If it's a straight line, period, it's linear, okay? If it has a consistent pattern. Remember when we looked at the slope yesterday, it was like 2 over 1 and it would go up 2 over 1 and it would do that every single time, right? That's why when we have a table, it has that pattern, because that's the slope we're looking at. We just hadn't learned it yet when we saw those before. So let's look at number 3. I'm actually going to skip 1 and 2 for a second. So when I look at number 3, how do I do this? Like, how do I know if it has a pattern? What do I do? Does it have to be the same on both sides? Like, do they all have to have the same pattern? What's most important here? Alyssa?
The most important thing is like it sticks. So with the y side, it's going down like 5 times.
Okay, so this is actually going up by 5 because we're going up into the positives here, right? And notice it has that same consistent pattern the whole way through.
Yes.
Okay, so far so good, right? Mm-hmm. Let's look at the other side. And a lot of times they're going to make tables like this where it's like it appears to be perfect and you have one tiny little detail that messes it up. So what's this going up by? 2. So we got plus 2, but then this poor little guy here messes up the entire pattern, right? So what does that mean for this table? Non-linear. Does anybody have any questions about that? The teacher that really inspired me to become a teacher myself was, she was a 7th grade teacher I had. Her name was Miss Hernandez. I went to St. James for 9 years, and she was a teacher that had a huge impact on me. I just remember, one, she was a really good teacher. She taught really well. I think she taught language arts. She taught some math as well, but she really taught me language arts. What I remember about her is how kind she was and how accepting she was of everyone, despite who you were or where you came from. Like, she made everyone feel welcome. She made everyone feel loved, and that really drove me to be someone for these kids that they know loves them and wants them to learn and wants them to grow. So that was a huge deal for me, and I really look up to her. So what would that mean as far as my graph goes? What would that mean if it's nonlinear again?
It's not straight.
It's not a straight line, and we couldn't even calculate a consistent slope, okay? All right, what about the other 2? These are the ones that kind of freaked you all out because of all the letters, right? So what was like some tips I told you here to help you out? Tamanisha? Exponents kind of throw everything off. What else? Bradley? Pi. What is pi? It's just a number, right? So that doesn't matter, actually. I like your thought process there, but no. Carmine? The parentheses? It depends. Like if the parentheses have an exponent on it. What about these little things? What about square roots? Those make it nonlinear? Yes. Anything else? Exponents, any exponent other than 1.
If the y and x are right next to each other.
Oh, good. If the y and the x are right next to each other, that means they're being multiplied together, which would cause the shape to become not linear at that point, okay? So let's look at number 1. Who wants to tell me what number 1 is? Hayden. It's linear. Why? They look just like simple, right? Nothing else with them. They're not being multiplied together. So this one's linear. What about number 2? What messes up number 2, Devontae? this little guy. This actually makes like a U shape on your graph. Okay, so obviously that's what? Non-linear. Anybody have any questions about this? In my class today, you will see one of my go-to lessons right now, which is station teaching. I found that in math it is huge to be able to teach in small groups, so they're learning a new lesson on slope within my station. I have my collaborative teacher in there that's teaching another lesson with graphing, and then I have like my consistent technology station that works on usually remediation or some prerequisite skills.
So like, with the third one, what if there's like the same number?
Like in the table? That's a good question. So let's talk about it. So if I have 2, 4, 6, 8, it's normal, right? But then we have like 5, 5, 5, and 5. What do you all think? Does it still follow that rule that it like follows a consistent pattern?
Yeah.
So what are you thinking, Nick?
So why can repeat itself at x?
Right, so the y can repeat itself and it'd be a function. What would that look like on a graph if the 5 is the same? Anybody have any thoughts? Let's get a hand raise. What do you think it would look like on a graph?
I think it would just be going up and way. It would be going diagonal, so it would be straight.
Okay, it will be straight. Remember that? Like, what do you think, Cameron?
I think it's just gonna go up by 2 every time.
Okay, so the x is going up by 2s, but what's the y doing?
It's just gonna go in a straight line, right?
But what is the y doing?
Wait, isn't it going to be a pot in a pot?
It's staying the same, right?
Yeah.
9 and 0.
So what is y? Is that up or down or left and right?
Left and right.
Wait,
So do you all remember that my favorite phrase ever? Does anybody remember it? When in doubt, graph it out. So let's look at it. If I'm going to graph 2 and 5, we got 2 and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 4 and 5. We got 6 and 5. We got 8 and 5. What's happening? It's a straight line. So what type of slope are we dealing with here? Zero slope. So would that still be linear?
Yeah.
Yes. That was a really good example, Allie. Anyone else have any other questions?
Miss Chaney's effectiveness in the classroom is just incredible. The way that she looks at her students as a whole child, the way that she knows their interests outside of the classroom, and the abilities and the variances in their abilities in the classroom. She is constantly trying to build those connections and relationships with the students. She invests and asks them about personal things that she can use in the classroom to get them engaged, to get them to communicate and make a connection with her, and just for the overall roundness of what it takes to make that connection to them, to get them to be the best student and put forth the effort for her that she puts forth to them in being the best teacher.
Okay, so let's actually talk more in depth about what our stations are going to be today. So in my group, we're going to be comparing slopes. We're going to be looking at different graphs. We're going to be calculating that rise over run that we talked about yesterday. Was there anyone that wasn't here yesterday? Really? Are you lying? Okay. We'll try to fill you in as we go. Okay, I think you'll catch on pretty quick. But we're going to compare slopes and actually calculate it. And remember how we talked about sometimes on a graph, like some of them will go up by numbers other than 1, and how that sometimes throws you off. So we're going to talk about that. Ms. Atcher is going to work on points and making sure you can identify the points if those intervals are off. And then in your tech station today, you have a Google Classroom assignment, okay?
Miss Chaney is an effective teacher because she really knows how to make an impact in every student in her class, and she brings a smile to everyone who walks in there.
All right, guys. So Ms. Atcher is going to come to you. So you all are going to start at tech. So get your Chromebooks open. It looks like my Google Classroom assignment actually had issues. Get on Khan Academy like we did the other day, okay? Khan Academy. I'll actually give you Khan Academy or Prodigy. So I'll let you make that call. But what's the expectation? Huh? Not after this, no. What's the expectation over here in my tech group? 0. Thank you. All right, we're going to go like 10 minutes, Ms. Atcher. All right, you all don't even need paper. Sorry, my poor board. Okay, I'm going to pass these out. I know. My wheels have broken off of it.
Are you allowed to write on these?
Yes, you are allowed to write on these.
Miss Chaney's such an effective teacher because, like, she could be aggravated at you, you could be aggravated at her, and she'll still help you no matter what. And if like you need someone to talk to, Miss Chaney is like would be someone really good to trust.
All right, guys, can I get eyes up here for just a minute? Let's talk about what we're doing here. Okay, I want you to flip to the side that has the number 2 on the top. See where it says like find the slope? Look at the side that has the number 2. Those graphs match these 2 graphs right here. So before you write anything, I want to talk about this. So put your pencils down. I want to talk about these 2 graphs. What do they have in common? Bradley.
The X is going up by 1.
The X values are going up by 1s, right? What else do they have in common? Allie? So how do we figure out what type of slope it is again? You just got yourself mixed up. You start on the left and we go this way, right? So is it positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive, okay. So what else do they have in common?
That is on the X value is 2.
They're both on the X value of 2, you all see that? So now let me ask you this, what's different about them? Because they also look like the same exact shape, right? They look at the same exact position. And remember, the steeper it is, what does that mean? The faster it's going, or the bigger the slope is, right? So what's different about these 2? Because at first, like people glance at it like, oh, okay, they're pretty much the same slope, right? So what's different, Tamnisha? One is going up by 5s. So how do you think that would affect your slope? Like if one's going up by 5, how would that change your slope? Aaliyah?
Each point that you make, it's going to be like adding 5 to it.
It's going to be what? Adding 5 to it. So would that be a steeper line eventually, do you think?
Miss Chaney is such an effective teacher because it is evident that she cares about the kids she teaches, and she's very specific to our needs. So she doesn't overlook the kids who need more help with the concepts, but then at the same time, she doesn't bore the kids who understand the concepts quicker. So she has a good balance between whole group, small group, and individual activities so we can learn the content, discuss the concepts, and then show what we know individually without feeling uncomfortable. Then when she teaches, she is concise, she talks clearly, she explains things well, she answers questions, and she makes her board that she writes all the notes on very understandable for us. So she might like use a different color for a specific part of the problem, or use many examples, and that's very helpful for me especially, is the examples. She'll teach us she'll show us the examples and do them as a whole class, and then let us do some by ourselves so she can go out to the class and watch what we're doing, make sure that we're on the same page as she is, help the kids who need the help, and then check the work of the kids who understood the concept.
One of the things I like to do is like, when they draw it like this, they look like almost the exact same line, right? Yeah. I like to compare them using the same intervals. So for example, like both of these dots start at 0, 0. Oh, my poor graph. They start at 0, 0, right? This one goes to 2, 4. So I go to 2, 4. So here's my first line, right? Mm-hmm. The other one starts at 0, 0, but goes to 2 what? 20. So this one is going to be like way up here, and it's going to be way steeper in reality, right? But they do this thing where it's almost like deceiving. You're like, they're like the same slope, but which one's actually a bigger slope? Which one's the bigger slope? Which one? Okay, so let's calculate the slope together. I'm actually going to write on mine. So you can do this with me, the ones that say number 7 and number 10. Every one of these two graphs like next to each other are being compared to one another because they look really similar, but some of them have different intervals, some of them stop at different points. But we're going to bring it back to yesterday where we talked about how to calculate these slopes, okay? So what's the first thing I told you I want you to write on every single problem? Alyssa.
The dots where it meets.
And I already did that for you. So you're good. I got my 2 points, right? What do I write, like when I'm actually starting to calculate it? Kind of want someone else. Evan, what do I write? Yeah. Rise over run. And what does that word rise mean again? I remember, Bradley? It means like how it's changing this way, right? And then run is how it's changing this way. So when I look at this, which point did I always suggest that you start at? What was my suggestion to make your life a lot easier on these? Bradley, I need you to turn around in your seat. Furthest to the left, because when you do it like that, you're going to have way less negatives. You're going to have easier fractions to deal with. So let's start with number 10, because these are nice and pretty. They go up by ones. The best practices I use to meet student needs are probably, a huge one again is station teaching. This is something I adapted a few years ago and it has changed my world of teaching. I feel like I can reach kids that I've never been able to reach before. And then within those stations, like I do a lot of differentiation with technology. The tech station is usually specifically catered to where they're at in math, so they will be assigned things that they need or where they're placed right now, and it really helps give them the new content with me and get remediation for the skills they need outside of that, so it has been huge. So on this one, we go up by how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. So where do I put 4? In the what? Top. On the top. Okay. And then what? And some people like it makes it a little easier if you do the little hoops so you can see like how it's changing. All right, then what, Allie? We're going to go right. And is right positive or negative? Positive. Positive. So 2 goes on the bottom. Can I simplify this any? Yeah. If you see it as a fraction, the bigger number is on top, you can just divide those. 4 divided by 2, what does that give me?
2.
2. And if you're not sure, just type it in your calculator. 4 divided by 2 is 2, or 2 over 1. But either way, if you looked at this graph, it's going to go up 4 and over 2 every single time. Does anybody have any questions about that? How are we feeling so far on that?
Good.
Okay. Do you want to try the other one on your own? This is the one that most people will mess up.
When you walk in Miss Chaney's classroom, the practices that she uses just vary from day to day. This year, we've put forth a challenge to our teachers of making sure that we're using station teaching in our classroom. The gaps that we've seen with being out in the last 2 years for COVID, we knew that that was an area that we had to conquer and master from the very beginning, and that differentiation through station teaching. She is able to reach those students in their various abilities. She uses the iReady scores and assessment scores to go back and see what they need, which area they may have a weakness in that she just wants to challenge them even harder with. For the students, she has honors classes where she could advance them to the next level. So the station teaching allows her to reach them in smaller groups and at variant levels. I would also celebrate the collaboration that she does with her team, with the special education collaboration that goes inside of her room. And she's constantly just striving to figure out where the small groups need to be pushed and to reach them at their individual levels.
Let's look at this one. Is it also 4 over 2?
No.
No. So what is the intervals going up by on the y again? 5. So when you look at this one, every time you move a space, you're going to go up by 5s. So you can count it with me. 5, 10, 15, 20. So on this one, my rise is 20. What's my run? 2. And can we simplify this one as well?
10.
20 divided by 2 gives me 10. So when you look at these actual numbers here, one's 10, one's 2. Which one has the bigger slope? Which is the bigger number? This one, right? And that's why it's a steeper line, because the steeper your line is, the bigger that actual slope is. What do we think? Okay, I want you to see if you can do number 8 and 11. You notice how those also look kind of the same?
Yeah.
Which one do you think is going to be bigger? Anybody want to take a guess?
11.
11? Okay. See what you can find out once you try it. Have you started the other one? So start here. You have 2 points. You have a little ways to count there. You going to try it for me? It's right here. Okay, so this one is like 2 spaces are 5. So we'll go 5, 10. Guys, pay attention on number 8, how there are like 2 spaces there. So when you're counting it, make sure you're going by those 2 spaces. Can I see yours? Does that go with this one? What does that say? 20 over 5? Okay. Can you simplify that any further? And if you're not sure, just pick up your calculator. Think 20 divided by 5.
I enjoy her when she says a lot of stories about when she was younger and her 2 kids and her husband, and she really knows how to make math become more fun and not some boring subject you have to learn in 8th grade.
Miss Chaney helps me succeed and do my best because like she tells me different ways like how to do the work we're doing easier for me because like I struggle comprehending things. So she helps me out like with showing me easier ways to do it, how to do it, like just helps you out no matter what. Shows you how to understand things.
I like Miss Chaney's class because I really like the teacher, first of all. She's just a really fun person to be around. And then her class is interesting. It's not the class where you sit there and you do 100 problems every day. But then it's also not the class where you sit there and listen to the teacher talk the whole time because that's boring. Her class is always different, and it's not like you walk into school and you're like, I know what we're going to do in Miss Chaney's class. It's going to be boring. It's always interesting. It's something different. It's not a routine, and that's why I like her class.
Yep, or 4. Yep. Good. Try the next 2. We got like 3 minutes, guys, so we're going to try to like just finish this front side. Okay, so remember you're traveling from one point to the next, right? So the first thing we do is rise. So we're going to go 5, 10, 15, 20. So the top number of your fraction, I want you to write these words, rise over run. The top number there is going to be 20. $30 divided by 5. Look at that math again. How you doing, honey? You okay? Can I see? No, those look good. Good work. Keep going.
Miss Chaney is always trying to better the staff as a whole at our school. She's trying to share ideas with them. She works hard to always stay on top of new ideas, new strategies, new developments in education, and she's always willing to share those. I call on her a lot this year to be willing to have teachers to come into her room and watch her with station teaching. This summer she focused on collaboration with special education and the teacher coming in her room and them working seamlessly together to reach those students, and she's always more than willing to be someone that they can come in and learn from, or to reach out to them if there's anything that she can help them with, and be that model for other teachers in our building as well.
Miss Thatcher, I got like a minute and a half here. Let's see, so 2 over 4, so you got a fractional one there. And you see how like it reduces to 1/2? Mm-hmm. If you actually go up 1 over 2, notice how it also hits on that line.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that cool? How are you doing? They look pretty good. Are you feeling okay on them? Same? Feeling pretty good? They look good. And guys, I want you all, everyone real quick, look at number 9 with me. Everybody look at number 9. Everybody look at number 9 with me real quick. Who finished that one? First of all, I think a lot of you have. You've probably got the fraction 2 over 4, right? And then it reduces to what? 1/2. I want you to look at your graph. Put your pencil on that starting spot at 0, 0. Put your pencil on it with me. And I want you to move up 1 and over 2 and tell me what happens. Note how it also touches on that line. Did you see it? If you start here, and you go up 1 and then over 2. See how it actually lands on that line too? That's why 2/4 and 1/2 is actually the same answer. They just usually will look for like the simplified version, okay? All right, does anybody have any questions for me on this stuff? You all feeling okay? Give me like a thumbs up scale. How are you feeling so far? Evan, what about you? What's your confidence level? You can be honest. If you're like, I'm still in the middle, it's okay. We just learned it yesterday. Okay, I'm going to leave you. I want you to hold on to this. I may have you all work on this a little more tomorrow or when we come back from enhancement, but I'll let you know. Okay.
Do you need help with that?
I know, my poor board. No, I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. My greatest joys in the classroom definitely come from the kids, obviously, and for me, a huge thing is not only them like learning, because obviously I want them to learn, but actually seeing it in themselves that they're capable of learning and giving them the confidence, because math is a tricky subject. I have a lot of kids that come in and they already have like their opinion of math, they don't like math, whatever. So if I can see them excited to learn or feeling confident in their abilities, that to me is like what causes a lot of joy for me in the class. All right, it's your lucky day. Chaney time.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
All right, how'd they do? Very good. All right, guys, you all are getting after. You in the middle or on text?
Miss Chaney will be a teacher in the future that I remember because she helped me out with like all my math work that I needed, and she's helped me out with other subjects and just getting my grade up.
Miss Chaney will be a teacher I remember in the future because I have had math teachers who I didn't like very much because I couldn't understand the concepts the way they taught it. Math can be a hard subject to learn. And Miss Chaney's teaching style is very flexible, and so I've never heard like of anybody who didn't like Miss Chaney or the way she taught because she just teaches everybody and everybody learns with her. So she's very kind, she's fair, she has a great sense of humor, and she's an overall great teacher. I've learned a lot from her this year, and I know I'm going to learn a lot from her before the year is over.
When former students come by to visit, it is one of my favorite days. Usually it's an excited response, so it makes my day to not only see them excited to see me, but usually they want to tell me all about how they're doing, where they're at in their schooling, or if they've graduated, and it just is very heartwarming to see them happy and successful, and especially if they share that I had any impact on that at all. It is really, it just feels good.
There was no question when I nominated Miss Chaney for the Excel Award, a nominee, that she just exhibits the all-around educator that reaches these children as their whole self. She is an advocate for every student that comes through her classroom. She's even had my own children that come back and tell stories about how Miss Chaney worked to reach to them, worked to challenge them, and even my daughter, who goes on to high school, will often come back and say, you know, I bet if I could sit down with Miss Chaney, she would show me a different way of how to work this math problem or how to attack it. And so she's just that lifelong teacher that they want to return to and feel comfortable that Miss Chaney's going to invest in them and be an advocate from them even when they leave our building.
Teaching is really important for a lot of reasons. Like, obviously as teachers are trying to teach them new content, but for me it's being someone in these kids' lives that cares about them and has some kind of positive impact on them when not every kid has that in their life. So I just think they really play a huge role in society.